Mary. How are you? Mary's on.
All the cameras are up and we're
I
ready
think
to
all
roll.
the cameras are up. International cameras up, studio cameras up, my Facebook cameras up, radio feeds up.
You are listening to the WTF show with Rhonda here at KUHS Denver.com.
All the cameras are up.
There we are.
you're
So
ready to
I'm
have
just
some
waiting. I
fun.
wanted to pull up the. Oh, it's got a minute here. I was going to pull up.
There is a place
There it is.
very far from
Turn
this
that up. I
world.
wanted to hear the intro. The intro's kind of fun. Hi, everybody.
Beyond
Welcome to the show.
you can get there
We're gonna take a bit, let you hear what's coming up on the radio, and then we're gonna go to our live
Remember,
chit chat with Henry.
music can set you
Chit chat.
Chit chat,
Here on the Memorial Day weekend
That's
on
right.
the WTF show with Rhonda Sheya.
and it is a beautiful Memorial Day weekend
Oh,
at that,
yes.
isn't it?
Oh,
Oh my
gorgeous.
God, it's it's
It's
a
only 100
Chamber of Commerce day for Colorado.
110 degrees
Yeah,
outside.
isn't that?
That's 120 in here.
It'll be snowing tomorrow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen.
please welcome.
No ladies or gentlemen here. I don't know what they're saying. Here we go.
This is a public service announcement from this station. Idiots are now assisting with the broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. This is Rhonda Sheya, and you're listening to the WTF show on KUHS Denver.com. And for the next hour, I'll be playing some of my favorite soul music
I will
from the
be.
1970s.
My favorite soul music.
If you want to tune in just to the radio portion, you can go to KUHSdenver.com. You can
Crazy
pick it up
fun
right
stuff.
there.
Keep it right here.
You can catch it on TuneIn.
WTF show.
I love that song, me and Mrs. Jones. I think that's, after you've been married 30 years, that's every woman's fantasy song. Oh, I wish I was Mrs. Jones. We've got some great music on that side, and I'll be posting that on my WTF page as well as on my own Facebook page after the show, so you can catch that later. And now we're just going to be live talking about insane stuff. There's so much insane stuff to talk about. I mean, it's you know, really seriously, it's as if somebody just divinely wrote a comedy for everyone to discuss. I mean, what's been going on lately? It's insane, isn't it?
No,
Oh, come on.
it's normal.
The country's insane. It's
No.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You were just so spoiled, Rhonda.
I'm spoiled.
Yes, you liked it the way it was.
Well, you know, I kind of liked it the way it was before everything went nuts. I mean, we've had just a nutty year and a half. You know what? I told somebody this political year has felt like dog years, hasn't it? I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It feels like dog years. It's like the longest year and a half I've ever been through. You know, it's like,
Dog
oh my
years.
God, it is dog years. You know.
How? Explain to me the dog years.
Well, you know how dog years are. Like I say, it's 7 years for everyone. So that's what I feel like since Trump got in the White House. It's been 7 years. It's been 10 years. God, get him out. No. But here's, you know, I don't know. It's every day there's just something new, another story that is debunked, but you know, half the world doesn't believe it. So it doesn't matter what you say, they don't believe it, even though you know you can sit there and play it side by side. He said this, he said this. Here's the fact, here's the fact. Nobody believes it. It's like they have shells over their eyes.
Well, they put a clown in there on purpose just to distract you. Everything else is going on.
Hi, Carol.
Where's Carol?
Swanee, right there.
Where?
She's right. I don't know. She's in the camera somewhere. Hi, Swanee. Anyway, she's in Texas, actually. There you go.
Go figure.
Go figure. She's in Texas. Then, you know, here's what I wanted to talk about. You know Alex Jones. Have you ever heard of that? Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, they're the conspiracy theorist behind the far-right site Alex Jones Infowars. They have a site called Infowars. Well, they're facing a lawsuit now, and of course that's just one of many because they're completely fake. Lawsuit from 6 families affected by Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings, as well as an FBI agent who responded to the attack. The lawsuit was filed Wednesday in Connecticut, and it adds to a similar defamation suit filed last month in Texas by more families who lost loved ones in the massacre there. Jones, the site owner, claims that the 2012 slaying of 20 first graders in Connecticut schools was a hoax put on and paid for by actors. Now, can you imagine? The only thing I can possibly think of that is worse than, there's nothing worse than losing your child in a school shooting, but if you want to add pain and problem to that, let's just make up the fact that, oh, this is fake. As you're sitting there grieving your child, and listening to this person say it's fake and it's actors.
What,
You know,
you
no,
was
I just,
getting intense there.
I just can't believe it.
I know you. I
I
was
mean,
getting nervous.
this person lost a 6-year-old son in that tragedy, and this guy is saying it's all actors and it's fake. You know, there ought to be there is a special place in hell for them. I'm pretty sure there's a special place in hell for Alex Jones, and I can't wait for you to go there. In fact, I wish I could send you there myself right now. Okay, that's it. All right. Anyway,
I'm scared.
you better get out of my way, Henry. I'm mad today. Too much weird stuff's going on. All right, Rick Clench, effing idiots. You're right, Rich. They are. Hi, Rich. Stumpy. That's Stumpy.
That's Stumpy.
Yeah, we call him Stumpy because he's so tall. He's taller than my my brother-in-law who passed away, and he's taller than my husband. I'm just going to say it right here, no matter what they claim. He's a bigger man, that's for sure. No, we love Rich. He's a good buddy. And his wife, Lori, I don't know if she's listening, but Lori is one of the coolest people I know, and they own this little 52nd and Wadsworth. They have a spa there, Apple II Day Spa, and Lori is like a clothesaholic, and she goes out to the merchant at Dice Mart and brings in all this really cool different stuff. And man, I love going there.
Just looking at all the
Oh,
cool
I love
stuff.
going there. I'm not kidding. It's a great place. Rich, you're gonna have to give us a gift certificate to give away on the air. How's that? All right. Anyway, so they did this. So anyway, they're seeking monetary and punitive damages as well as other costs, and it doesn't specify how much, and it doesn't matter. There's no amount of money that can bring your little 6-year-old back. But the point is that this stuff has gone on too long. I mean, there's just constant bombardment of things that are fake, and I think the term fake news too has been really misused, and it started at the top, and it's been misused because the traditional news sources are not fake. MSNBC is not fake. CNN is not fake. Fox News, when you're talking about the newscast, is not fake. They all have a different slant on the news. They're opinionated, which I don't believe opinion belongs in news, but this show is like a commentary. It's okay for me to talk. So it's slanted one way or slanted the other way, but that's New York Times is not fake. The Washington Post is not fake. You know, what's fake is Alex Jones, Breitbart, and some of the very far right left papers as well. They're pretty bad as well.
But how did you determine this?
Well, they're solid reporters. They're based on facts. They're based on a history. They're based on going after things. Now, what they have done in the news, and I worked in the news and I saw this myself, was they might take a statement and cut it up
And then twist it and
and then use just one line of it, and so you get it out of context. But that's not fake. That's just taking it out of context. And then when you read the whole story, you usually get the whole context.
like the new one where they're charging what's his name, Morgan Freeman. Did you hear that one?
I know.
Good God.
I know, Morgan. Come on, he said. Stop it. Oh God. Anyway, the lawsuits are starting to pile up against Alex Jones. So hopefully one of these days somebody will put him out of business for all that heartache and trouble that he's causing. It's one thing to make up something. It's one thing to say like Donald Trump has a tiny hand or something like that. And it's another thing to really do things that are so harmful to someone who's lost someone so close to them. So I just can't see. Oh, he said he'll see what he can do. There we go. Hey, there's Barry and Paula and Barry Thorpe. Hello, it's Barry. I have known that guy he's known me since I was born. So that's pretty sad, you know. And he's still my friend. I can't even believe it.
And he's still my.
I know. It's like, oh my God, it's my oldest friend. There he is. Anyway, and they're in Florida, I think. I believe they're living in Florida. I don't know if they're roaming all over the world. Every time I see them on Facebook, they're doing something really cool. You know, it's like, oh, they're in Florida, and I am in Thornton. Okay, here we go. Anyway, the school shootings are getting to me. I can't. It's not funny. It's not fake news. It's news that should be fake, though, and it isn't. Is all of these school shootings, and I mean, every day we're hearing another one. We're hearing another one. We're hearing another one, and we are just fundamentally doing something so wrong. I can't. I don't know what we're going to do, but I know what we are doing isn't working. So what I hate to hear from people are two things I hate to hear. I hate to hear thoughts and prayers with no action.
It's like you get a big semi and you're sending the thoughts and prayers in the semi. They open it up, it's empty.
Yeah.
Where do the thoughts and prayers go?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. I mean, you
People
want to carry
just type
people in
it
your
and
hearts
it's all in the virtual.
and in their prayers, but we have to also do something to change it.
Do you think people really get down on their hands and knees and do?
I do. I do believe people pray. Yes, and I have prayed for those people. And it's
But why do they
terribly
post it
sad.
up on social media?
But what they need to do is we also have to do action.
There we go. That's I
and
want to see real
it's
action, not
empty.
just
Words are empty,
sending-
whether they're prayer words
Yeah,
or
when they
regular
say-
words
when they
without
say-
action.
sending prayers.
Big deal.
Where's it going? Oh,
If
that's
my
just
kid
a-
died, don't send your damn prayers. Change the law. And that's what I feel about it. But so I think words are empty and hollow without action. Whether those
Mhm.
words are prayer related or
Mhm.
those words are not
Yes.
prayer related, they're empty without action. And to sit there and say, well, this won't work, or this and that won't work. Well, we haven't tried anything else yet. So why not try something different? Let's try something different. Because nothing's going to change if we sit around and say, well, that won't work. Oh, this won't work. Oh, and I'm at the point now where I firmly believe that every single person who supports doing nothing about gun control has the lives of these children on their conscience. They just may as well take out their little gun belt and charge another notch every time a kid's shot.
But don't look at me like I did. I had nothing to do
And I'm
with
not
it,
against
Rhonda.
guns. Believe me, I have guns. I know Barry's a hunter. He's got guns. He's also a teacher.
I don't have guns.
We do, and we
I
have them
don't.
in our house, but they're
I don't
protected.
have any in my house. Now, here's what I find really funny, where they say, do something about watching your guns in your house, lock them up in and I've seen this comedian do this, lock them up in your gun lock or whatever. Guy breaks into the house, hold on a second, let me go get, okay, right, 16, hold on, I got my gun, okay, what's the purpose?
Well, yeah, I gotta shoot him. No, and I don't know. We think about gun laws, but one, we can enforce the laws already on the books, which are scantily enforced, and they're not enforced unilaterally. So I think that
Don't
would.
use those big words on them.
Okay, they're not enforced. You went to Regis, you know those people. It's a big liar. They're not enforced unilaterally. There's not a national database for gun ownership, and the loopholes need to be closed.
You know how they say birds of a feather flock together. When you get around somebody, you learn a lot of stuff. Well, I told Charlie yesterday that since I've been hanging around with him, my vocabulary has gone way up. He couldn't stop laughing.
Okay.
I had to share that.
Yes, it's good. But, I
So
think.
don't use that big vocabulary
Okay,
on
I
me.
won't. I guess I won't use. There's a couple other words I better cross out here. But anyway, what I was going to say is that closing those loopholes. I think most of us can agree that the gun shows and the private sales, they can't get around the fact that they need to do background checks and those types of things. Requiring people to lock them up, holding people.
There you go again with you lock them up, and how does that protect you? Everybody says you gotta have home protection. How do you do that?
If you
Somebody
have
breaks
children
in?
in the home. If you don't have anybody in the home, then you might want to have your gun by your bed for protection. If
Well,
you
that's
feel
not going to
that
help
way.
either. Do you know that? Let me tell you. You're sound asleep. How fast can you wake up and get facilitated?
Well, that just depends. If it's my husband coming home late, I think I could get that gun in about 10 seconds. Got it. Got it.
It takes you about 10 minutes to wake up. Wait a minute, let me get the gun. Hold on, I sit in the dark. Oops, ow, I
know,
hit my
really.
knee.
You got to load it. You got to keep it unloaded. It's like, but I have them for camping and hiking and things like that.
For what?
Well, because you could run into an animal. You could be on the trail by yourself. I do a lot of that. And so,
You're
I
going
have
to
a
shoot
little
a
gun.
poor little bear?
Well, not with the little gun.
You're going to shoot Yogi?
I'm more worried about a person, and I would shoot him.
Your husband, right?
Here he comes. No. But I thought it was a bear. And I think closing the loopholes. I think mental health is important. I mean, there's so many elements of this, but doing nothing doesn't change it. So let's say we close a loophole and it doesn't work. Well, we're no worse off than we were. That's what I don't get. We really need to look at this problem from the eyes of the people who are getting shot, which is our children.
Okay, let's say you were the president. You were elected the president of the United States
God,
of
they'd be
America.
digging up dirt on me. I'd have.
Wait a minute. Not on the election time. I'm talking you're already elected.
They'd be digging up dirt. She smoked pot. Oh.
Nope. What would you do to change gun control?
Well, first of all, I'd take all the laws that are on the books and I'd make sure they were enforced unilaterally across every single state.
Okay.
So there'd be a national database registry. I would get rid of the assault weapon. That's been the #1 assault used weapon for.
Guns are for killing.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less.
And so I would worry about assault weapons. I would do very serious background checks and possibly a foreground check. And what I mean on that is the mental health check doesn't do any good.
And you look at me every time I say mental health.
Mental health check doesn't do any good. when it's in the past. You may have been perfectly fine, but now you're not.
Right.
So
you found
I
that
think
out. So
that-
you found out something
I
about
think, and it costs money to have a car. We have to pay taxes and registrations and have insurance. And, so if you own a car, you're out literally several $100s. Well, why can't a gun? Why can't you be out
Put insurance on the gun,
well, maybe insurance, but maybe
license.
going to a psychiatrist that has to
registration.
certify that you're able to handle, having
That's why I don't have
classes,
guns.
all those things. So anyway, there needs to be some really serious talk about it. And no one is going after the Second Amendment by saying that we have to control them or that we want certain types of weapons banned. But the Second Amendment was not, I think, and that's a conversation people can have from constitutional lawyers. But at the time, they had no vision that there would be this type of thing. And also, a well-regulated militia is different than a bunch of bubbas with a bunch of AR-57s that they're leaving laying around their house, and then their drunken kids grab them and go shoot up a school. So, right? So anyway, that's enough of that. We're going to move on from that. But that whole Sandy Hook, this lawsuit from the Sandy Hook parents against Alex Jones, I hope they win. I hope they get enough money to close that paper down, because it is the biggest false news out there. And it's hurting the real legitimate news sources, including, whether you like it or not, including Fox News. I don't like them. I think they're very bigoted and one-sided. But their news, their actual newscast is news. And the same thing with CNN and with MSNBC and ABC. The big boys, it's news. They might twist it a certain way, or they might look at it a certain way, but it's not fake. Okay, so Trump's... Let's talk about this. Spygate. It ended with a whimper, right? Spygate, this big Spygate thing. Mueller, I can't say it. Mueller probes many threads, and the details cannot be public. I mean, they just can't make details public with all of this stuff yet, because it's an investigation. And that's, everyone knows that. Everyone knows you can't make that stuff public. So let's calm it down and see what happens. I'm willing to say, let them finish the investigation and see what happens. I mean, from a real standpoint, we all, as Americans, should just let them do their jobs and finish the investigation and see what happens. Not second guess them, whether he's this way or he's that way. Just let it take its course. I don't for a minute believe the FBI is tainted that way, however. These are career people. They are, many of them are Republicans. Mueller, I think, was one. So anyway, he's instructed federal law enforcement officials to hand over sensitive information, because he's not caring about the country. He's caring about what's going on with his investigation. And there'll be a time for that, but it's not in the middle of an investigation, and it's not to hinder it and to stop something. And if this is wrong and they don't find anything, great. If it turns out to be a witch hunt, which I highly doubt, but if it does, then okay, we move forward. But if it doesn't, the country is owed a solid investigation. What do you think, Henry?
Well, what I can't understand is he should have already been thrown out of office, because, I mean, Weinstein's already going to court and getting all this stuff. What's his name? So far, everybody's going to jail for their sexual prowess.
Well, but this isn't that.
I know it isn't that, but
What?
it's
We're
all
talking,
this-
but we are talking the leader of the, well,
he's not
not
leader.
anymore. He's not the leader of the free world anymore. This has no respect. But we're talking somebody that's very powerful in the world community. We're talking about our president, whether we like it or not. He is our
Yours.
president. He is the president of the United States. And so we're talking about somebody that it has to be very careful, especially as polarizing as this has become.
Why do they have
You
to
know.
even do that? Just go in there, grab him, put him in
It's
cuffs, and
they're out. No, well, because then we're just doing what he wants to do. We're just becoming him at that point, So anyway, his defense attorney shows up at these hearings, which I think is absolutely ludicrous, to see what's going on. And then, boom, it's over, because there actually was nothing. They found nothing. There was nothing. There wasn't a Spygate. It was a big fake thing started by him, because he does that to confuse people and throws all this stuff out there and does that. So that was a big fake thing. So anyway, it turns out that Spygate was nothing. So that was that was a conspiracy theory that Trump put together for us. And but we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, if they think there's something going on and they put someone in there to find out, that's not a problem. It's not like a private person doing it. We're talking, it's the FBI.
well, it's all part of the same machine, isn't it?
Well, it's part of the Justice Department machine.
But it's all the same thing.
Well, to him it is. Yeah, I mean, it's a private security force, is the FBI. But
See?
But the other thing is that this was kind of interesting, I thought. This is a list of some of the conspiracy theories that have been pushed forward by our liar-in-chief. So I thought this was kind of interesting. These are the most notable theories, including that former President Barack Obama wasn't born in the United States. Let's not forget that Trump was a perpetrator, and he pushed that theory. Senator Ted Cruz's father might have been involved in the assassination of JFK. Remember that one? Okay. MSNBC host Joe Scarborough was somehow involved in the tragic death of one of his staff members. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, these are all fake. These were proven fake, and this is being pushed out by our president.
When does he find time to do all this?
Well, he's not governing. And Obama had Obama had the wires tapped in Trump Tower. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are conspiracy theories that literally were going on and on and on and on.
Who is Obama?
I don't know. They want to erase him off the planet Earth. So
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, really. And the FBI is not above criticism, and it does need to be watched, and we need to have oversight on the FBI. But to just blanketly assume that they're all corrupt or they're all bad because it serves your purpose is not a way. It's not healthy for the country, and it's very dangerous for our country in terms of keeping us safe as Americans from outside forces. It's very dangerous to do this.
Wow.
So anyway, we'll just have to see what other theories. I mean, that's just a few, but those are some of the conspiracy theories that are.
That's all you got?
Well,
I want to hear more.
Well, there's a lot more, but we're gonna move on because some people want to talk about other things besides the president.
Your president.
And all that. So I brought some facts with me today. This is it, fact or crap. No, coffee in a pot gone cold. Okay, you could try screaming at it. Have you ever tried screaming at your coffee? Just pick it. A typical shout registers when you yell at somebody. It registers 80 decibels. Okay, which translates into about 0.001 watts of energy. Okay, so a 1 second yell will warm an 8-ounce cup of Joe by are you ready for this? 0.0000171 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can warm.
Yell at it to make it warm.
Well, you could actually boil coffee by screaming, but it would take you a year, 5 months of constant screaming to heat the coffee from room temperature to the perfect drink of 72 degrees to the perfect drinking temperature between 140 and 155 degrees.
Huh.
So you'd have to. That's something my husband. No wonder he turned red. I screamed at him for. I roughly screamed at him and didn't stop for a year and 5 months, and I think his temperature rose.
Oh my God!
I do. I'm gonna have to call him up, honey. Is that why your face turns red? Because I've been yelling for a year and a half. My poor husband. He's out weightlifting. He's benching. He used to bench 400. Now he weighs it.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm picking on him.
Yes,
bad.
you are.
He's home now. He's been home a lot lately. Like, I'm not used to that. He used to travel and be gone, but like sometimes 3 weeks out of the month, he'd come home just like on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got along great. That's 36 years.
Because he was always gone.
Now he's home all the time.
Now you don't get him.
Comes home for lunch. He's on the bed. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Who are you?
It's really been a big adjustment.
Have you adjusted?
I'm not sure. I'm gone a lot now. It's the only way to do it. It's like, oh my God.
That's the only way to do it. Where are you going? I don't know. I'm not coming back for 3 days.
I'm going to see what's on the radio, make sure
I can hear it.
Oh my God.
Yes, my child.
So you guys got to tune into the Facebook feed afterwards to get this playlist. It is just beautiful.
The radio feed, not the Facebook feed.
It's all that nice, beautiful soul music from the 70s, that fun stuff. It's great. So here is something interesting from my... This is about eunuchs. Does it make you nervous, Henry?
Yes, very much.
Okay, so the ancient Greek physician, how do you say that? Hippocrates, I think.
Hippocrates.
Yeah, Hippocrates. The ancient Greek physician, often regarded the father of Western medicine. I guess let's forget the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocratic Oath. I promise to take care of everyone as long as they have a big fat checkbook for as long as I possibly can. That's another story in itself, right? Okay, I have to tell you about I'm going to skip. I got ADD. I'm skipping. I'm going to something else. This is my new feature. It's called
ADD.
It's called Inhumana. That's my insurance company, and I call them Inhumana instead of
That's
Humana.
true.
Oh my God. Okay, Inhumana Insurance, which sucks, by the way. So if you have a choice, don't get it.
Suck.
Inhumana Insurance. They switched plans. I'm still in Humana, but they switched plans. So it's a Humana, different kind of plan. And my doctor for my cancer treatment, which has been, I'm in my 5th year, and at the end of 5 years, they pronounced you hopefully cancer-free, which I think I will be. And they switched. And so I called him up and I said, this is really bad because I've got 2 more appointments with the guy who's taken me through from diagnosis, surgery, treatment, healing, all the way through. I've got 2 more. Can't you make an exception so I can see this man who is familiar with the scars and the tissue and all the things that you have to be familiar with, right? Well, we'll look into it. Of course, they denied it. So I got to go to a guy who's never seen any of that stuff, hasn't been with me at all,
Why did they do that?
because he's not in their plan. It's Humana, though, but he's not in that particular Humana plan. So probably because every doctor in that plan, except I do love my new, I have 2 doctors I like. I have to get a new OBGYN. I like her, Dr. Tucker. And I like my new OBGYN, my new primary health physician. That group is wonderful. And Dr. Shoup, I think is his group. But they assigned me to a doctor. I didn't even know him. It's like, this is your doctor. I'm like, what? I said, what do you mean this is my doctor? They denied paying for some, prescription because I didn't use my doctor. I said,
wow.
What are you talking about? They go, this is your doctor. I said, I never even met this guy. Where'd he come from? They're like, oh, we just put him on your card. That's who you have to go to. Okay.
Jeez.
So anyway, they won't let him do it. So I've been fighting that, but it's like, so I call him Inhumana. Can you imagine 2 visits?
Inhumana.
How stupid is that? Because if someone who's familiar could catch something and someone who isn't might not, look at the money the insurance company would outlay if there's a mistake here.
Oh, I know.
Right? So why not pay, even if it's a little extra, for the 2 visits that are left so that I can go from start to finish with the same doctor. So thank you, Inhumana Insurance. I hope they hear about this. I hope somebody from Inhumana is listening.
And
you people suck.
When you call them and tell them you want to keep it going, who is in charge?
Well, it's some guy in India. I literally call Inhumana, and they answer going, hello, this is Inhumana. I'm like,
no, you're not.
it's a customer service. I'm like, okay, fine.
Did you plug it in?
What's
Did
your
you
problem?
plug it in?
Well, I went to the doctor, and they wouldn't take my insurance card. Oh, that's because your plan changed. Really? I didn't know it changed because I wasn't working at the company. I have a Cobra. So they had changed plan. And I go, but it's still Humana, right? Yes, it's still Humana, but you have to go to different doctors. Well, I'm like, okay, fine. But I'm in the middle of a treatment thing. Can I maybe
just finish
this? We will have to see because I don't know if they're going to pay for you. And you would have to go and talk to the supervisor. I'm like, what?
And then he puts you on hold and he comes right back on. This is the supervisor.
Like, if they're going to screw you over, at least do it from somebody that has a job in this country. I mean, okay, screw me over, but at least make my neighbor have a job.
That was your neighbor.
Yeah.
And you were calling your neighbor's
yeah,
house.
really, It's like, and then you ask him, who am I speaking with? This is
Your
Robert.
neighbor? Your neighbor?
This is Robert. Yeah, right, it's Robert. And I don't care because really, when I was at Disney, all the accounting, they moved the accounting people over to, I think it was India. And they're very bright, beautiful people that did the job. That's not the point. But when you're talking something so personal, I think it would be helpful to have somebody that you can understand talk to you.
Well, that's why they do it. So you can understand it.
That's it. You can't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, fine, So anyway, whoever this guy was in India that's not a doctor decided that I didn't need to go see my radiologist that I've been seeing for 5 years. So, okay, okay. If it wasn't cancer, I'd hope it'd come back so I'd have to pay. If it comes back, I'd be like, see, I told you.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to talk to another department.
Call back and say, see, it cost you $100,000 now instead of like an extra $500. God, anyway. So back to this. So we're going to talk about this. I got on medicine.
You
Oh, I just get, anyway, we're going to go to medicine. Father of Western medicine. I bet he's really proud of it today. Was the first to record and observe that eunuchs neither developed gout nor go bald. Well, I guess my husband's not a eunuch because he has both of those things. He's got gout and he's bald. So there you go, guys. If you see a guy that's walking around with a big toe and he's got, a bald head, you know that he's pretty virile. Okay. Look out. He theorized that hot blood was the cause of male hair loss, and that removing the testicles gave eunuchs a cold, feminine temperament. We're like, okay, guy.
Ouch!
He might not have been as smart as we thought. I don't know. Anyway, he recorded a recipe to treat hair loss, but at the risk of splitting hairs, pardon the pun, it appears that his Disease of Women, Volume 2, that was a book about gynecology, he says, oral and written transmission of pharmacological knowledge in the 5th and 4th century Greece. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Okay, anyway, they determined that if she loses her hair, just apply something that would warm up, you know, but anyway, I don't know. Crushed radishes. That's what, crush a radish and rub it, and crush an onion and a beet, and get pigeon poop, and that's what it says here, pigeon poop, and put it on your head. I wonder if my husband would go for that. You think I could?
Pigeon poop.
Do you think I could go and say,
ain't nothing but a pigeon shit,
pigeon shit. You think I could go and get some pigeon poop and literally, what would put it on my husband's head and see if he grows hair? I wonder if he'd do it, because, you know, men will do anything to grow hair. I should say, I'm going to do it.
I grow hair with no problem. My hair grows so
You've
quick.
got great hair. But I'm going to go and I'm going to collect pigeon poop, and I'm going to see if I can convince my husband to put it on his head, and I'll let you guys know. I bet he'd do it. Honey, it'll give you a full head of hair. Oh! What good is a full head of hair when nobody will come near you?
Smell like shit.
Oh, what's wrong with you? God, anyway, I don't know.
You smell like selling pigeon shit.
Can you imagine radish, pigeon poop, and onion?
Oh my gosh.
It wouldn't matter if you had hair or not. Nobody come within 100 miles of you. You know, that's it. That's not the...
That's just not the way it works,
No,
right?
it's not. It's not. Okay, so here's a couple more. Let me see what's on the radio. Make sure we're...
You got 3 minutes.
Oh, God, I love this song. Turn this up. Everybody needs to hear this song.
You got 3 minutes.
3 minutes of the news. Uh-oh. Can you turn it up? Am I going to hear it? For just a minute, we'll have to take it down, because I know they get mad at us on Facebook if we have the music up too much. That cut us right off. You have to go through the real cameras to hear it. God, that's beautiful. I love soul music. It's just great, isn't it? I wonder how many babies were conceived because of soul music. I bet we should do I mean, seriously, back in the 70s, you know, with all that free love, I wonder how many children were actually conceived because they were smoking pot and listening to soul music.
And doing the mattress mambo.
That's right, doing the horizontal bop. You know? I bet there's a lot of them. You should ask your parents that. If that's terrible. Ask your parents. Was a song playing when I was conceived? Find out what it is. We should do a survey. Oh, there's Holly. She's in New Jersey. Hi, Holly. Thanks for tuning in. Holly is a teacher in New Jersey. Thank you. She is awesome.
She teaches sex education?
I don't know. I think she teaches English or something. What do you teach, Holly? Type it in there. We went to college together. She was in a sorority with me. And so, all right.
This is your turn.
Okay, we're getting there real close, about a minute. All right, we better get this up here then. All right, we're getting ready to go on the air live, so I've got to take a little break here. Get ready.
For those who are joining us, you're on the WTF show with Rhonda Sheya. We're going to go live right now on the radio.
That's right. So you'll be hearing us both on the video feed, but also on the radio side.
1 minute out. So
1 minute out.
So it's going to be great. I'm hoping you're enjoying Miss Rhonda. She's putting out some really good stuff right
Turn
here.
this up. Let them hear this piece. They got to hear it. After this.
It looks like a purple people leading to me.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Go ahead. No, Mr. President, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance? You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, Can you state,
Quiet.
Go ahead. Can you state
She's asking a
categorically?
question.
Can you give us a
Don't
question?
be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be
Can
rude.
you
No,
give
I'm
us
not
a
going to give you
question?
a I'm not going to give you a
Can you
question.
state? Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
Go ahead.
can you state categorically that nobody? No, it's not
Go ahead.
appropriate.
That's it. That's right. We are fake news. Here we go. Didn't you love that? What do we get going on here? Oh, get a little feedback or something. There we go. Okay. Anyway, hi Henry.
Are y'all ready to go?
And yeah, I'm all ready to go.
Are
We're
you
talking
ready
on the
to go?
radio side here. So, everybody in Denver's been talking about the price of housing. It's gone crazy here. For those of you who are tuning in from around the country, I can't even begin to tell you what's happened in our market. Homes that used to sell for, $125,000 are selling for $400,000 and $500,000. I mean, it's which is great for the people who are ready to sell, but it's not so good if you're trying to move back as a college student who's graduated, or you have a job where you really can't sustain a $400,000 home. Not a lot of, and that's pretty rough. So anyway, because misery loves company, listen to this. Laguna Beach, California, a 595 square foot home, and really a cottage, a Southern California cottage with 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom is on the market for just under, I mean like $10, under $1 million, according to the Orange County Register. So there you go. I don't feel so bad.
And that's where we're headed, right?
Oh, but gosh, yeah. Well, I was having that conversation today that I believe that, the next step is I was looking around at people waiting the tables and the people that are service workers and the people that are hardworking laborers. And I'm like, how are they going to afford anything? They can't afford rent, even if they're working 40 hours a week.
And 3 jobs.
So they're going to have to, there'll be no people here to do those jobs. So they're going to have to raise those wages. That's what's going to happen automatically. Well, as soon as those wages go to the $20 an hour that they're going to need to sustain themselves, then the food, when you go to breakfast, it's going to be $50. When you go, so the entire state, the rise in housing is going to lift the entire state up, cost of living up so high that those of us that are retiring and those children that are moving back will just not be able to afford to live here, just like a Hawaii or a San Francisco or somewhere like that. So
Well,
we're seeing the end of
Dodge.
Colorado. I'm going to sell mine. I've got a price limit on my. We have 2 places here in Colorado. As soon as it hits a certain level, we're selling them both, and we're going to go somewhere else.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You can come with me, Henry.
Let's do it.
All right. Anyway, so talk about gunning the engine. Here's a news story that came out of Tacoma, Washington. Authorities say a driver near Tacoma saw an object sticking out of the front of his car during an evening commute, and this was Wednesday. He stopped for gas and discovered it was a handgun. Yep, a handgun. A weapon was embedded in his bumper, barrel end first, with the trigger sticking out just below the driver's side headlight. The Washington State Patrol Trooper Gill, who was on the scene, says the driver notified troopers who recovered the gun, which was missing its magazine, so there weren't any bullets in the chamber. I mean, I don't know if there was any chamber, but there weren't any magazine. And he called it a completely bizarre way to recover a weapon. No shit. The driver didn't know whether the gun came from an overpass or another vehicle.
Where did it come from?
They don't know. So the police department in Lakewood Police Department, and his name is Chris Lawler, said the department's investigating whether it was linked to a nearby fight where shots were fired. So maybe somebody was fighting, they fired shots, and they either threw their gun or they shoved their gun somewhere. Who knows? I don't know. But it'd be so weird. You drive home, there's like a handgun sticking out of your car. What?
Or maybe this guy ran over somebody with a gun.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying anything. The
That's
guy
what
was
happened.
going to shoot at him. He ran him
Just
over.
ran him over. Oh,
Oops.
it's a vigilante. Hey, there's one.
And pretends like, oh, look at here.
Could be. You never know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of the Onion, so I get some of my news from there, which is the best, most reliable news source in America. So here's the story. A Sacramento, California woman confirmed Thursday that she anxiously reached for her cell phone after a suspicious-looking black man told her the soup of the day was minestrone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just didn't like the looks of him. He was lurking around with an apron on. He was going up to people, asking them questions, pulling out a pad of paper. And so she said, I exchanged nervous glances with the people next to me and dialed 911. Whoops, boy, bang that 911. And she said, I have no idea why he's here. He's not buying anything. Okay. And then the police arrived, and of course, she tried to take a video on her phone, but she wasn't able to do that. But the police got there, and because it was too hard to take the video, she said, behind the trays of food he was carrying. So anyway,
Sure.
So the police arrived on the scene. They pulled their firearms. They slammed the black suspect onto the table, and he produced a threatening packet of oyster crackers. And I'd like to say that's sad, but look at all those things that happened, with the kids going on the college tour and the mom thinking there was something wrong, calling the police and all kinds of stuff. Jeez.
Oh, good.
Come on, people. Be real. Okay, sports. A recently passed NFL policy will require players to cease kneeling on the field, forcing them to either stand for the national anthem or stay in the locker room, an option that had previously not been available. So I asked people what do they think, and I got some responses back. So this was my favorite. What these players have to remember is that when they step on the field, they leave all their fundamental rights behind. That's from Chris in Miami.
They do?
Yes, you leave all your rights behind. Guys, sorry, if you're playing football, you leave your rights behind. You have no First Amendment rights whatsoever. Okay, I don't see how this addresses the problem of players still having independent thoughts or opinions. They're not supposed to have those. And that's from Natasha in Washington. So I keep moving the paper and hitting this microphone. So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, okay.
I think that's one of the most insane and critical mistakes the NFL has ever made.
I agree.
I don't. You could stand, sit, kneel, whatever, but you're forcing patriotism on people that were. They're reframing it, saying
it's patriotic to protest. That is
yes.
part of the rights in our Constitution. Why would it be there if it wasn't patriotic?
Right.
For us to do that. So number one, it's patriotic to protest. Number two, it's okay that the Ku Klux Klan and all those people there's some good people in that group. That they're marching with flags and bad things and saying terrible things. That's okay. But players respectfully kneeling because they live in a world where they have seen injustice, and we do live in a world with a lot of injustice. That's not respectful. And did you know there's a precedent for that? They're not the first bunch of athletes to do that. Do you know when the first time that happened?
Yes, I think I remember. It was in the games. I think one of them held us.
Before then.
Even before then. Give me a hint.
Well, it was baseball.
Okay.
And it was in the 1950s.
I wasn't born yet.
Okay, so in the 1950s.
I wasn't born yet.
Oh, yeah, right.
How could I know that?
In the 1950s, the baseball teams took a knee during the anthem to protest the lynchings in the South of African Americans, and also the way that they weren't allowed to play baseball with African Americans on the team.
Why did they do that?
And so
why were they lynching? What kind of atrocities were going on all the time? That hurts.
And so anyway, the baseball players were actually the first people to do that, and in protest of what was going on in our country in terms of the separation of our races. So this is not, and they were all white. This is not the first time.
But white isn't a race.
No, well, Caucasian is.
Is it?
Yeah, Caucasian is. But anyway, so they're not the first to do that, and I think taking a knee quietly is, to me, it was an okay thing to do.
I take it all the time for my wife. I need it in the back.
But anyway, yeah, I think it's wrong that we're restricting their rights, and it's the anthem. It's not the flag. It's all been, it's the flag. No, it's
it's the
anthem.
Military.
And it's not the military.
I know they
it's
say
not the police. It's not any of those things. It's we need to solve the injustices in our country, and if that's the way they choose to protest.
But they reframed it. They reframed it as if it's they're disrespecting a flag, an inanimate object. They're disrespecting the military.
Yeah, it's been reframed.
It's completely reframed.
Whether I agree with it or not, I agree with people's right to do it. That's the point. It's not about whether I agree with it. I might think it's horrible.
We ought to
but
take
it's
a
about
knee.
the right to do it.
Let's take a knee against the NFL for being a nonprofit organization all this time.
Yeah, really.
That's what they are.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you looked that up?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, and how about this? If the players are required to stand during the national anthem, then how about everybody in the stands? How about all the people in the stands? Have you seen them? They're eating popcorn, drinking beer.
Yeah, why don't we even stop all the concession
Yes,
stands?
shut them down.
Yeah,
Everybody
shut
can't
off all
walk
the
on the
beer.
walk. You can't park your car. You have to stop,
Yeah,
get out and stand.
yes.
If they have to do it, then I think every single person in the stadium
Everybody.
should have to do it. That's what I would think.
If
But
not, bring in the military with those flyovers that they do and just bomb everybody. Take them out.
okay. Well, anyway, that's here and there. But so let's
What?
talk.
It's neither here nor there.
Well,
Yes, it is.
because we can't bomb them. Well, maybe NASCAR would get a lot of Trump
It was
voters.
a thought.
All right, let's get out. No.
It was a thought.
Okay, it was a good thought. But anyway, speaking of NFL, did you notice? I don't know if you saw my Facebook page, but guess who I golfed with this week?
Eddie Murphy.
No, it's a Ring of Fame Bronco.
I don't know any Broncos.
Haven Moses.
Who's that?
Oh, come on.
I don't know. No.
Oh, you can't. Oh,
You're like-
you've got to be kidding me. He's a
You're like-
legend.
oh, sure, like the Moses, the
14
Eminem.
years in the NFL.
Yeah, the Eminem connection. Haven
Haven
Moses
Moses.
and Craig Morton. I didn't know neither one of those guys.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, what a nice man. What an absolutely delightful man. And we just had some great conversations, and just a wonderful guy. I loved him. So, and he's does so much for our community. So, I mean, he volunteers, and he is part of a lot of charity things. So, what a great guy. What a great man. Okay, so anyway, politics. Oh, there's a political story. Imagine that. Washington. Confident that their findings represented a clear step forward in the ongoing Russia investigation, the Senate Intelligence Committee confirmed Thursday that Donald Trump Jr. has absolutely no knowledge of anything. After questioning him many times, we can confirm that Donald Trump Jr. knows absolutely nothing about anything. He is a vapid, empty vessel, said the committee chairman, Richard Burr, adding that thorough interrogation of the president's eldest son left the panel with no reason to believe that he had any information to disclose about himself, the world around him, or even the most basic concepts such as shape, colors, or simple numbers. So far, our investigation has yielded no evidence that Donald Trump Jr. has the ability to retain or even process information, let alone form that information into thoughts. By all accounts, the man is barely conscious. The committee went on to confirm that recent questioning of brother Eric Trump resulted in a surprising amount of information. Oops, I hit that thing again. Regarding dinosaurs and fire trucks. There you go.
Jeez.
Well, this one's even worse. This World News. World News. Are you ready? We should make a noise like World News. Leaping at the chance to never again deal with the U.S. after North Korea's disparaging remarks towards Vice President Pence, leaders from the other 193 nations of the world began insulting Mike Pence Thursday in hopes of avoiding future meetings with President Donald Trump. Mike Pence is just a dumb shit partisan hack who doesn't have the faintest clue about international relations or running a country, said German Chancellor Angela Merkel, joining nearly 200 other presidents and prime ministers who just mercifully degraded Pence as a cowardly, full of crap, repulsive, and all kinds of other adjectives that I won't say, in a concerted effort to stave off any more direct contact with Trump. Poor Pence. He's getting it because they don't want to talk to Trump or have him ever visit their countries. Mike Pence was a crappy governor, and he's incompetent as he is ugly. Just a pandering jerk with the personality and intelligence of a roadkill. Meeting him in person was one of the worst encounters of our lives, stated the nearly 200 world leaders. Good, they're hoping that Trump never visits. That's bad, isn't it?
That's
The Onion. I love them. It's kind of funny, you know. All right, so are we close to having to come back with our music?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the music, and this one is for my sorority sisters who are listening. This one's for you girls.
You like that song there?
I love that song. That's a fun song. It's a good party song. We are family, right? Okay. How'd you like that story about peanuts?
Jeez.
Well, they're just letting them have it, The Onion. You ever read
Hammering
that?
him.
Oh, they hammer everybody. It's hard. I have to change some of the words because the words they used were worse.
Really bad.
Yeah, they start with F, a lot of them. So, like fire truck and, fantastic. And just like this show wasn't that fantastic. But anyway, yeah, I love The Onion. I love taking their news and laughing my head off with it. So I wanted to go back to the book and find a couple more things that were just kind of silly. So here's something called Common Sense. And what this is just information about our coins and our dollars and our money. I don't have any money, so I had to look this up. I mean, I don't know if it's true. It could be fake news because I never have money to look and check it out. The ridges on the sides of a coin are called reeding or milling. Did you know that?
No.
Me neither. and I don't think it matters if anybody knows it. A dime has 118 ridges around the edge, and a quarter only has 119.
Whoa.
So it must be something to do with like the circumference of the circle. I don't know. Can't really.
Or the size of it.
Maybe this, oh yeah, the space between the ridges. Some teacher would have to tell me that. I flunked math. I'm not very good at it. Are smart.
Are smart.
Okay, here you go. How valuable is a penny you found laying on the ground? If it takes just 1 second to pick it up, a person could make $36 an hour just picking up pennies.
Whoa.
But you have to be in a bunch of pennies. You know, you have to be in like a fountain or something. You know.
Diving in there for the penny.
Would you ever get in a fountain? I mean, you see that in movies like lovers get. I'm like, they're spitting there. You've seen that?
Oh.
Oh my God! It's like you've got to be kidding me. You're not going in there. It's rumored that if you suck on a copper penny, it will cause a. Now this is very important, Henry. Very, very important. If you suck on a copper penny, it will cause the breathalyzer to read 0.
Really?
What it says.
I did
It's
not
a
know
rumor.
that.
I don't know because I've never had to take a breathalyzer.
So you suck on a copper penny and
You see a cop come and throw a bunch of pennies in your mouth,
we got your mouth, sir.
spit them out, and then take the breathalyzer test.
What are you talking about, Ossifer?
I don't know if that's true. I mean, I really don't know if that's true or not. I
Let's
don't know how
try
you
it.
know. I don't even have. How do you get a breathalyzer? Could you go to a police station and say, "I just want to see if I can fool your breathalyzer"?
Uh-huh.
Hello, officer. I'd like to see if I could fool your breathalyzer. I mean,
Try it. You got to throw a lot in there, right? Then
it's like,
swallow one and can't get it out. Get it lodged in your throat.
hey, how do you like my fringe?
Oh, it's nice.
I should show it to fringe jacket. You know, if I can see it. Because I am going to guess what?
The Fab Four.
The Fab Four. That's
Did
right.
I guess it?
You did. That's right. Right after the show, I'm going heading out to the Fab Four, which is an outdoor concert.
Where at?
It is in, it's out by Santa Fe. I can't think of the name of the venue now.
Hudson Gardens?
No, it's not Hudson Gardens. It's a different one. It's out by there, though. And it's an outdoor venue.
It's a park?
Yeah. This is an L. I don't know. My husband's driving because I have to do edibles. It's like, we're going with a bunch of friends, and we're picking them up, and we're all going to go see the Fab Four, and it's outside. I can't.
Levitt's Pavilion.
Levitt's, that's it. Levitt's Pavilion. Thank you. I couldn't remember. I'm like, I don't know.
Once you said L, I knew what it was.
We're going to Levitt's Pavilion. We're going
It
to
used
see
to
the
be
Fab Four.
Ruby Hill, and they
that's
did the
right.
whole
That's right.
area, and they created a facility called
Yeah.
Levitt's Pavilion.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. It's I've seen the Fab Four when I worked at KUHS. We used to bring them in all the time for different shows and concerts, and they're one of the best Beatles impersonation bands out there. So I am just thrilled. I'm wearing my fringe. You know, we're gonna go back to like 1968, 69. Gonna be wild and crazy kids.
And then you're going to strip down and have free love?
Yeah, we're gonna take this all. Where my, because it's gonna be too hot. So
So you are going to
we'll
strip down,
yeah.
and have free love.
Speaking of strip down, on June 16th, we're doing the show naked.
Hear
Yep,
that?
it's Naked Radio. June 16th, Naked Radio. Just giving everybody a hint, a little warning.
Mhm.
I've got a special guest coming in.
You're going to be they're going to be doing it naked. So we're going to advertise that. So you're going to really have a big.
It's
A
Naked
big
Radio.
laugh out of that
Naked
one.
Radio. It's
You're
going
going to be
to
in your naked. for real.
Naked Radio. It's going to be
Naked.
absolutely hysterical. It's June 16th. So speaking of that, and I'm looking for songs and all kinds of fun stuff. And it's, we're going to be broadcasting live from here. We were thinking about broadcasting live because my guest is the president of a nudist colony. So we're thinking about broadcasting live from the nudist colony, but we didn't do that. We're going to do it here. So, and it's going to be pretty ugly. So, we're going to probably have to be careful because, we're old. We can't show too much. Be like, but anyway, it's going to be fun. So you better tune in. So let's get back to here. 56 million people go to a Major League Baseball game every year. 56 million
Wow.
people go to the games.
Wow.
I mean, if they just bought one beer each.
That's a lot
think
of
of the
beer.
money. Think of the money. Do you know how many stitches a baseball has?
68.
No.
430.
No.
21.
108.
I knew that.
You were close. You said 68. You had the 8 right. Do you know that Babe Ruth wore a cabbage leaf under his hat to keep his head cool, and he changed it every 2 innings? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's kind of, I just
See, everybody's putting this stuff on their head to grow hair and
pigeon poop and cabbage leaves and I don't know.
good God.
Yeah, it's not weird. And here's another one. John Dillinger, the bank robber, he actually played professional baseball. I don't know what team. Okay, but he played professional baseball. I found that in a weird fact book. So I don't know. Baseball games between college teams have been played since the Civil War. It started during the Civil War.
Freaking God.
Yeah, that's something. And it was the first sport to be pictured on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm doing baseball because, it's baseball season now, and I like baseball. Baseball's home plate is 17 inches wide.
Wow.
So there's some kind of fun stuff there. And in 1859, when baseball was kind of new, the umpires literally sat in rocking chairs behind home plate. They just sat there and
rocked away.
How do they see anything? It's like, okay. It takes about 8 seconds to make a bat in a modern day baseball factory.
Because they got the legs.
And then they charge it have you seen the bat prices?
Jesus.
Like, my friend has sons that play, grandsons that play baseball, and I went with her to the store. She was going to get a bat, and they're like $400 for some 8-year-old. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I wouldn't buy it. You got to be kidding me. Give him a stick. Put some duct tape around it. Like, I wouldn't spend $400 for a kid to have a baseball bat unless they were going to be, if they were in high school and they were at that level where they might get a scholarship. That's crazy. Anyway, the first formal rules for baseball required that the winning team to score 21 runs. There had to be a score of 21 runs before the game.
Jesus.
Can you imagine how long that would take today?
Oh, man.
We got 4 days.
Give me another bear.
One game.
Give me some pennies.
Season's 5 months long. It's
So I
one
can
game.
suck on the pennies.
I don't know. It's crazy. What do you think was the weirdest thing that happened in the news this week, Henry?
I would say it has to do with the NFL. That had to be really weird, strange. That's like saying, you stand before your master.
It was pretty different. Well, what kills me is that they'll get in trouble for taking a knee and peacefully protesting, but they'll let them beat their wives.
I know.
I mean, the NFL doesn't take a stand on that. The NFL doesn't take a stand on...
Well, some of them need to be beaten.
Oh.
Oh, that opened a can of worms.
Okay.
I really messed up. I'm sorry.
You better
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
It's been about 100 years since my last confession.
These are my sins.
I did that actually one time. I hadn't gone to confession. I'm Catholic. I'm retired now, but I was a Catholic. And I went to confession because it was somebody's getting married or something, and I hadn't been in 25 years.
And so what did you go in here and say?
I just said, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I've done number 1, 3, 7, 5, 2. I went down the list. I said I did them all except they didn't murder anybody. Pretty much. That was it. It was like, oh my God. But remember when you were a kid though? The confessionals?
I can't quite remember back that far.
Oh, those were
Yes,
always.
I did. Yeah.
Remember going to those confessionals?
Yes.
And everybody would be sitting there. Did you go to Catholic school?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And you'd be sitting there waiting to go in the confessional, like, oh.
What was that about?
And you're like 6 years
Where
old.
did this confessional thing come from? That has got to be, I never liked that.
What could you possibly have done wrong as a 6-year-old?
Even if you did, what are you doing in there?
Yeah.
Saying it to some strange priest, he says, come here, little boy. Want to be molested?
No. No. That's bad to say about
That's what they
priests.
used to do.
Well, maybe some did, but I know some pretty wonderful priests.
I did
And
too.
especially when I worked at Regis. Those guys were fabulous. They were very, very
They're
nice,
cute.
wonderful men.
Were
And
they
they
sweet?
they were wonderful. Jesuits are not sweet. I wouldn't call them sweet, but they are very devoted and very intelligent and very open-minded and very godly, I think. But anyway,
Those nuns, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Those were me. Oh,
No, they were really nice.
really?
They always wanted to take me in the back room for some reason. I didn't ever understand.
I
Sure,
got hit in the head with
sister.
a bell. I got hit in the head
Well, she made me.
with a ruler.
She used to pull my pants down and spank me with the ruler.
You're talking about a nun, not your wife. Jesus Christ.
The nuns did that too.
I'm talking about your wife, Henry.
Here you go, boy.
Oh, God. Those nuns were kind of tough.
Yeah, they were.
They were
Not
a little
great.
afraid of them,
No,
And when I went to school,
you were. I was.
they still wore all those things, like that habit and the thing on their head and the scary robes and the big rosaries around their neck. And they had
Those rosaries, I mean, Jesus.
they could hang you with them. It's like,
Or tie you up with them.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I know. You're like, oh, do it again. And they were scary. And they're just were scary. I don't know. I don't think there's very many nuns today, and the ones I met are really nice. But I think the ones that teach were scary when I was a kid. Then we used to have to. Did you ever have nuclear war drills?
Stick your head underneath
I
the desk? Come on.
It was
What's that going to save? It goes boom, you're going to be, just fried, and it's going to be
I know.
just,
They'd
Now
have
you're
to
a
get
pile
under
of
your
shit.
desk. Like, okay, we're going to do, in case of a nuclear war,
mhm.
we're going to do a drill.
I don't get that. You go under the desk,
get
I mean,
the desk.
you're vaporized. Come on. They meant to stick your head up your ass and kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, really. Later we got older, I was like, why would they even do that? I think probably so everybody would think they were safe, so they wouldn't panic. And then they could find the pile of ashes in front of each little, space, and they'd know who they were. But speaking of that Rocky Flat show was great last week, wasn't it?
And we are at the end of our show, WTF, and we're going to say goodbye for now, Rhonda,
Goodbye.
and move on
Thanks
to
for
the
tuning
next
in.
show. And so we're ready to go.
We'll be here in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, on June 16th, it's Naked Radio. So be sure you tune in.
I got to check that out. So for now.
You're going to be naked too, Henry.
What is that?
Bye-bye,
Is that
everybody.
a rocket in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Naked Radio. I'm not saying anything else. Just tune in. June 16th. Before that, June 9th, I'll be playing 80s music. All right.
So for now, see y'all
That's
later.
right. See you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in.